Hello programmers! This is a video about making a flashcard scene in Unity. So I've just got a single scene, and if you want to switch to the back of the flashcard, just tap on it, and if you want to go to the next flashcard, just tap, and then we will go through our list of flashcards, and you could put whatever questions and answers you want on these flashcards. So let's get started by opening Unity Hub and create a new project. And my version of Unity is 2021.3.1 F1. I'm picking a 2D scene or 2D project and setting the project name to flashcards, and then I'll go ahead and hit create project. All right, and from the blank scene, we want to go ahead and add some UI components. I'm going to start with a canvas, and we can just leave that called canvas, that would be fine. And with the canvas selected, I'm going to add a button that will allow me to advance from one flashcard to the other. And if it's the first time you've ever created a button that has Text Mesh Pro, you might need to import the Text Mesh Pro Essentials. And then with the canvas selected, I'm going to also create a UI image. And I'm not going to actually add an image, but you could have an image in the background of the flashcard to make it look fancier. I'm just going to leave it as a blank. Right now it's got white as the default color. I could just pick a different color and have it as a yellow flashcard. So from here, I'm going to select the image and hit F, and then I can see where that is on the screen and move things around to where I want. I'm going to end up putting the flashcard in the center, so that's going to be position 0, 0, and the button, I'm going to select that and move that around. I really want it to the right or above the flashcard, maybe. We'll move it to 0, 0, and then F to find it, and then I can move it maybe right there. So the button, I'm going to have the text on the button say next, and it'll advance the flashcard. All right, with my new image selected, I'm going to right click and add a new object. So just an empty object is fine, create empty. And this is where I'm going to have the text for the flashcard. So I'm going to type in text, and instead of calling this image, because I didn't actually come up with any images, I'm going to rename that one flashcard. Okay, with the text empty object selected, I'm going to add a component, and I'm going to add the text component. And the reason I'm picking text instead of Text Mesh Pro is my flashcards, in some applications I might want to use Spanish or French or Mandarin, and I found with the Text Mesh Pro I could not have the non-English characters displaying. So for me it works better to do text, but if you're only doing English flashcards, the Text Mesh Pro would be fine. And then for my starter text, I'm just going to say the word one is going to be on one side of the flashcard, and having it in white right there and a small font may not be what you want, so play with the font and make that whatever you like, whatever color and whatever size you want. And I'm going to choose to center the alignment of my text in my flashcard. All right, we're getting close to the fun coding part. I'm just going to add a script to my flashcard object, and so I'll do new script. And you can call the script whatever you want. Mine's going to be called flashcard flip, maybe. It's going to be in charge of flipping the flashcard and also advancing the flashcard to the next flashcard. So I'll create and add that. We can double click on that script to open it and start editing. And from the default code that comes up, I still do want a start function, and I still actually do want an update function, but I'm going to add some public variables fields to this right at the beginning. So the first thing I want to add is a rect transform. And you can call that whatever you want. And I'll put in a comment saying this is going to hold the flashcard object scale. So the rectangular transform, it's just part of the component that's available on when you have this image here. See, transforms right there. So we just want to be able to access that so we can change the size of this flashcard to make it appear like it's flipping. All right, that was the first thing I wanted to add. And now we need to actually change the text every time somebody flips the flashcard. We want different text to appear. So I'm going to say text, card text, and we'll end up dragging in the text. So let me just save this and do those two parts right now so I don't forget to do it later. So with the flashcard object selected, I'm going to go look at my script and make sure I drag in the two things that I need so far. So the R, maybe that wasn't the best variable name, but I'm going to drag this in. So if you drag in that flashcard object, that'll fill it in. And then the text, oh, I see it auto-filled for me and did me a favor, which is not what I want. I don't want that to be a text alignment. I want it just to be a text. And if you get this underlined in red, you're just going to say using Unity Engine UI for user interface. Okay, that's better. And if I hit save, now I'll be able to drag in the text part over there. All right, other things we're going to need is some questions. So we have the content for the flashcards. In a real application, you might have another script that's reading in the content from like JSON files or XML files or something. I'm just going to hard code the text just for now, and we'll assume that eventually you're going to read in the text in a different location. But I'm going to make a separate class to hold on to the questions. So I'll make this a public class called question, and it's going to have a public string with the question, and then another public string with the correct answer to our question. And then I'll make a couple constructors. Well, really just one constructor will be fine. So we'll say somebody has to pass in the string for the question and the string for the correct answer, and we'll be able to fill those in. So question, and then Q, and correct answer, and then C. So just having it in a class might come in handy later. So I'm going to go ahead and have an array of all the questions that you might want to ask in your flashcards. So I'll have a public question, and I'll just abbreviate it to quests and do new. I'm going to hard code 3, but again, in real life, you'd probably read this in from a different source. And I can start filling in those questions once I get to, oh, I need to make sure that's an array. So let's put those square brackets there. I can start filling in some fake questions in here. So if I've got 3 questions, we'll go ahead and start our index at 0 and say create a new question. And I'm just going to go from the words of 1, 2, 3 to the numbers of 1, 2, 3. And that is going to be our flashcards. So good enough for now. And the real interesting part for me is the animation of the flashcard turning on Unity. All right, so we've got our questions ready. What else do we need at the top here? Well, there's a few other things that I need. One is going to be how much time you want it to take to flip your flashcard. And if you want it to be customizable and something you can edit from Unity, you could make that public. If it's just going to be always a hard-coded value, you can make that private. So I'm going to say 1 second to get halfway through the flip of the card. That might be a little long. So maybe 0.5 seconds to do half of the flip, and then 0.5 to do the other half. So 1 second total. And this is going to be a floating point value. Okay, what else? I want to keep track of which side we're on when we're flipping the flashcard. So I'm going to say, let's make that an int. Face side is going to start as 0, and I'm just going to arbitrarily say 0 is the front of the flashcard and 1 is the back of the flashcard. Other things we need. So as the flashcard is turning, the image is actually going to be shrinking or growing, or to give the illusion that you're actually turning the flashcard. And so I'm going to say that -1 means get smaller, like as you're going from a big flashcard to the illusion of it turning, and 1 means get bigger. And I'm picking an int so I can multiply by either -1 or a 1 to figure out the scale of what I want to do with my flashcard. And I'm going to add another private bool for is flipping. Are we currently in the process of our flipping animation? And let's see. And also, I'm also going to keep track of, this could be private, which card we're on. So I have 3 different flashcard questions, and I'm going to start with question 0, which is the 1 and 1. All right, we may need more things, but for now, that's a good start. We've got our questions, and then I've got, another variable I'm going to have. I can make this private. Is I want to keep track of the velocity of your flashcard when it's turning. So I'm going to call that a float and distance per time. So down here, the distance that your flashcard image is going to change over time is going to equal the how big it was to start with. So the local scale in the x direction, so that's the width of your flashcard divided by the amount of time that you want it to take to do its flipping. So we're going to use that later. We're going to make sure to start at card number 0. This should already be set, but every time you start the scene, we'll just restart it at 0. And then I also want to have the text set up to whatever's in that question array, the first thing in the array. Okay, I think we're at a good point to save it and start, and we're not going to be doing any flipping yet, but I'm hoping to hit start and see that first flashcard question, which is just the number 1. And I'll jump back to my scene, and it already says 1, so it's really kind of hard to tell that it's doing anything, but I'll hit play, and if we don't see any compile errors, that's a good sign. Right, I don't actually see any errors yet. You can look under the console if you want to see errors. So for the update, I'm going to check if we're actively in the process of flipping right now. So if we are flipping, then we need to do a few steps, and I'll explain this later. But I want to get the local scale, or the size of our flashcard, and this has an X, Y, and Z coordinate. So if we look at our flashcard object, there's 3 parts of the scale. Even though we don't really think of this as a 3-dimensional project, we've got our X, Y, and Z coordinates. The only thing I really want to change about the scale of the flashcard image is the X component to make, I want the height to be the same, but I want to make it look like it's smaller because that makes it look like it's turning. So I'm going to use this little formula that I'm either multiplying by a 1 or a -1, and then the distance per time, and then the time.delta time, it's something that's in Unity, that's the amount of time in between frames. And then so I'm going to make a clone of my local scale, because that allows me to change just one component at a time, and then I can change the whole local scale of my flashcard object to what I just added. And I thought of one other part I wanted to add to this class. I want a time count of how much time has passed since the user clicked on the flashcard to flip it, and it's going to be a floating point number. And the time it takes to flip the whole flashcard from the front to the back is going to be the 0.5 times 2. And so we'll keep track of how close to that amount of time we are with this time count. So every time you're in the update function and you're in the process of flipping, we'll go ahead and update this and say the time count is going to be plus equal time dot delta time. That's the amount of time in between each frame when you're drawing the frames in Unity. And if the time count is greater than or equal to the flip time, that means you're done flipping it, either flipping it from the back to the front or the front to the back. And let's see, if is shrinking is 0, it's getting smaller, then what are we going to do? Well, we can switch is shrinking and say, well, we're done getting smaller, we want to get bigger again, make it grow back to the original size of the flashcard, and time count's going to be back to 0. If you're a face-up flashcard, you would have this face side set to 0, and then we can flip it to a face-down flashcard, which was, we just said that was 1. So our card text will be whatever's in our question array for the card number we're on, and we'll look at the correct answer. Else, we want to do the same kind of thing. I can copy and paste that, but in the other case, we're going from the back of the flashcard back to the front, and instead of showing the answer, we'll show the question. All right, pretty good. And so we might not be in a condition where we're shrinking. Instead, we could also check if the time count is greater than or equal to our flip time. And our is shrinking is 1, so we're getting bigger instead of smaller. In that case, we can just stop flipping, like we are completely done with the flipping. All right, I don't have anything to advance to the next flashcard yet, so let me add another function. I've got a function for flipping the flashcard, but I'm going to have a next card function as well. And we'll always say if someone goes to the next flashcard that they're going to start with the front of the flashcard or the question. So our face side would be 0. I'll increase the card number by 1. And I don't want to go outside the bound of the array of cards that we have. So I'll say if the card number just got to something that is bigger than the length of our array, then we'll just go ahead and start back at the beginning again. So start back at 0. Otherwise, we want our card text to be updated to our next question. I feel like it's not a great typing day. I feel like I keep hitting the wrong buttons. But anyway, all right, so we've got 2 functions we need to hook up with the scene, our next card and our flip card. I'll hit save and go back over to that scene. For getting the flashcard to flip, it'll be the user tapping on the flashcard image. To move to the next flashcard, they will hit the next button. The next button already has an on-click area, so we can just hit plus, drag in our flashcard object, and select from the functions available from flashcard flip, and we'll select flip card. Or actually, that was not the one I wanted. I wanted next card to go to the next question. And the flashcard, because it was an image, it doesn't already have a on click, so I'm going to add a component for a button. And now I see the on click. So we've kind of made this image into a button as well as an image. We'll drag in the flashcard, and now we can pick the function, and this is going to be the flip card. All right, crossing my fingers and hitting play. All right, and we click on the flashcard and it flips, or has the appearance of flipping. Really, it's just changing the width and it makes it look like it's flipping. And then when you want to go to the next flashcard, hit next and you can flip that. And I would love to expand on this and add a cool background to the flashcard, but this is a long enough video already, so I will stop here. Happy programming!